everyone, welcome to Humble Tree Homestead. I'm Danielle Carpino. We are on week number 8 of doing garden tours. I can't even believe that I have done these for 2 months straight at this point. It's so exciting, and I thank each and every one of you for actually being here, sticking around, liking, commenting, subscribing. All those things have been helping me to stay motivated to continue to do this and realize that there are people out there that are liking these videos and enjoying them, which makes it a little easier to get up early in the morning and come out and record. I live in Washington State Zone 7, and we have had a heat wave this past week with temperatures up to 107 degrees. So it has been a hot one, which means that my garden has absolutely turned into a wild beast, and you are about to see. Let's go take a look. The Shishito peppers continue to be one of my favorite things that I'm growing in my garden, which doesn't surprise me considering I have loved Shishito peppers for the past year, but they are very great growers for me. We are continuing to get harvest off of them. We are harvesting them at least once a week and getting around 11 ounces or more every single time that we harvest them. And you can see that they are continuing to grow, continuing to give us produce. We just harvested these 2 days ago, and you can see that they already have a lot of growth. Now, when I do harvest this size right here, I leave them on. So this isn't how much they've grown in 2 days, but all these sizes are. That size I left on, and they're about that size now. So just so you know, that's kind of the way that I work it. I let them get a little bit bigger, more this size whenever I actually harvest them. We have a lot of blossoms still coming on, and it's just continually producing for us. Both of these have been great producers, and actually other people are very happy I have them in my garden too, because every time I make my blistered Shishitos and share them with somebody, a new person gets addicted to them. Look at Wilbur, everyone. He has grown a little bit this week. I am so excited. Apparently he just needed really hot weather to grow a little bit. It's still pretty little. However, there are blossoms on it now. So we may get the cutest, tiniest, littlest green bell peppers off of it this year, but we'll see what he does. We've just kind of accepted him to be who he is, and we'll continue to watch and see what he does throughout the season. I continue to wait for my red raspberry echinacea to set on new blossoms. It hasn't done it yet. I know it will. I do see them starting, but it's just not there yet. So I miss that little raspberry pop of color in there. Sweet Carolinas, and they are those really large sweet bell peppers that we have. For here, you're going to see that it is actually really turning colors this week. There's no like, maybe they are, maybe they aren't. It is definitely changing color. This is going to be a red pepper, so as you can see, I have 2 over there that are pretty close to being ready, and then other ones that are not far behind it, but these are such a huge pepper. They're so cool. Every time somebody sees them when they're in my garden, they're like, whoa, those are big. My mom was just over here yesterday and she noticed that too. So they are in fact a very big sweet pepper. You can tell by just the top of that guy right there. Sweet Carolinas that we are happy to be able to harvest here pretty soon. All of our peppers really enjoyed this hot week. Banana peppers are not excluded from that. They just continue to grow, continue to produce. All of our pepper plants have gotten incredibly tall. They are just continuing to really produce those peppers for us. You can see here that they're turning that beautiful yellow color that banana peppers turn into before they're ready to harvest. And they're just a long, skinny pepper. For those of you who have never seen a banana pepper, that's what they look like. That's what pepperoncinis are made from. And they are just such a pretty pepper. I really enjoy looking at these ones. I like the shine on them. I love the color on them. And I love what they make too, so. The lemon drop pepper. This is one of our 2 spicy peppers that we have in the garden. This one is fastly becoming Zach's little pride and joy. It's really cool because it has a lemon zest flavor to the peppers once they hit their ripeness, and he says that it's really a fun flavor to have on a pepper because it's spicy and then you get that brightness of the lemon. They turn this lemony, banana-y color to them when they are ready to eat. So that's how you know when the lemon drops are ready. This one, if you are a hot pepper lover, I would strongly suggest trying this because like Zach said, it's really fun and different with that lemon zest flavor, especially with a lot of the foods that you would eat a spicy pepper with. That's really a fun attribute to add to it. But in addition to that, you guys, it really is growing so well for us. It is a huge plant. It's the biggest of our pepper plants. It continues to grow, continues to take over. And in addition to that, it really is a heavy producer. There's just a ton of peppers on this plant. The plant is actually really pretty in my opinion. But in addition to that, it's such a heavy producer and it's a fun, different profile than what you're going to get from your other peppers that you would grow in your garden. Our Thai basil continues to grow. You can't really see it in combination with the zinnias, but these tall ones are my Thai basil. Everything has just really taken off. I fertilized and then the heat wave hit, and so all my plants are doing a happy dance in my garden right now. I'm not having issues with heat pressure on them. They love the heat this week. Like I've told you guys, I really like to take those and pinch them off and use them as garnish on dishes. And then I also have kept where it has gone to seed so that you guys can continue to see that process. Once these actually dry up, they can be used as seeds for plants next year. I will do that towards the very end of the season, is just let all of my basils and things like that go to seed so that I can get seed for the next year. Thai basil, I don't necessarily wait till the end of the season to let them get to this point because I don't find that Thai basil gets bitter like other basils do. I think that it actually adds more of the anise and things like that. Unlike my other basils, I definitely don't, because the other basils will taste so bitter. This one, as I have continually told you guys, is Zach's favorite, and he's enjoyed this one for years. This is the first year that we are actually getting a really good harvest because it gets adequate sun. It's not in containers, it's on ground. It's really doing so well for us. You can see there they turn red when they are ready to be harvested. And this one is another prolific grower. You can see that each branch just has tons and tons of those peppers on them, and it is just a great yielder. These are the Thai peppers. You can eat them when they are green. They are just better whenever they are red. They have more of a flavor to them instead of a green pepper flavor to them. Sweet baby watermelon continues to only have the one watermelon on it, but I think it's getting close because sounding a little hollower, but also I have noticed that that tendril that is connected to it is beginning to dry and do what I've heard makes it actually ready. So we'll see. I'm continuing to wait. I'm continuing to research. Everything has different opinions on when a watermelon's ready. I'm like, no wonder people don't know when to pick them ripe or not ripe. But that one continues to grow. It just hasn't been giving us any more fruit, but I'm wondering if when that one's close to being done, if it will actually give us a little bit more fruit on the plant. But if not, at least I got one watermelon off of it, and it was a free plant that my friend Jen so graciously gave me. So I'm happy just to have one watermelon on here, and especially considering it came from my friend. I will save the seeds that are in it, so then every time I can say this is Jen's sweet baby watermelon. As you can see, my petunias, aka trap crops, are working beautifully. They're keeping the pests off the plant and actually having them come down and eat this plant. It still looks really good, but you'll notice that there are parts where the bugs have been eating on these, which is the whole purpose of a trap crop. You plant plants that deter the type of insects that a particular plant you're growing them next to gets, and then they will go to this versus the other plant. Aphids and caterpillars and things like that really like petunias, and so they are going to go to the petunias before they go to the other plants that they are planted near. Petite de Gris melon is that French varietal that is in the cantaloupe family and is going to have caramel tones to it. This one, when I have researched it, it says that it will get some yellow dots on it whenever it's ready. Mattify a little bit more, which you guys can see it's getting less and less shiny every week. And you know when this one's ripe because they say it's very, very fragrant. You will smell it when it is ripe. So I'm waiting for a smell, apparently, is what I'm waiting for on this. Good thing I have a good sniffer, but I am really excited for these, you guys. This one sounds so intriguing to Zach and I, especially having caramel tones to it. We love melons anyways, but that just sounds fabulous to me. So I'm going to show you guys. Over here we have that one that is either dormant or didn't get pollinated, but I'm pretty sure it's just sitting in dormancy until those are closer to being done. Then over here we have another one that is getting very big. You can see my hand, you know, it's a cantaloupe, so that's cantaloupe size. If we continue down the plant, down in here, there is another one that is getting large and going to be a good size one. And I just love the plant. I think it's pretty. Just the foliage on it is gorgeous. Okay, my friends, so you remember this Armenian cucumber that I have pruned back vigorously 2 different times this season? It has completely taken over my walkway with this hot week. Look at this. It is encroaching completely on my walkway. There is no walkway now. This one I think would be super cool to grow on the arched cattle panels, which we might try next year because we do really like the Armenian cucumber. It is so incredibly crisp. It is crisp, but no matter what size it gets a little bit sweeter than a normal cucumber does, and it is just so incredibly enjoyable to us. And it's really neat looking, and it grows really well and is heat tolerant and things like that. So I think this is going to be our cucumber, at least as of right now. It's been my favorite that I found. So you can see there we have one big one that is actually pretty much the size that I like them. You can let them get really large, and then you just have to scrape out their seeds like a melon, and then you can eat them. You can eat the seeds, but the seeds are a little tough. But it is one that you can eat as it gets larger. That's just the size that we prefer it at. It's a nice tender eating instead of crunching on a bunch of seeds. But you can see it needs to be trained and pruned again. I was gonna let it go wild at this point, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do one more pruning and training and then let it go wild after that. Because I still gotta be able to get in here and harvest my peppers and things, and that's not gonna happen when it's already starting to take over. These two are gonna become intertwined and it's gonna become a mess. So I need to do a little maintenance on that one now that we're out of the heat wave. The Thelma Sanders Acorn Squash is doing good, you guys. You can see throughout that there are onset of new female parts and blossoms that are going to be opening up, which is incredibly exciting because that means we're going to get more Thelma Sanders than just 2. I was happy with 2, but I'm elated with more than 2. There's our 2 that have been growing. Beautiful produce, looks great. So right here you can see a female blossom that is not going to open up. This is kind of the problem I've been having with squash and zucchini this year, is the blossoms not opening up. See how the fruit at the end of it is already turning yellow before that blossom even opens? It doesn't even give it the chance to get pollinated. So that one is spent. However, here's one that did get pollinated, is continuing to grow, so we're excited about that. And then back here, we have another female blossom that's looking healthy. It's got a bigger fruit on the end of it. The blossom is continuing to grow. So hopefully this one continue and open up and give us another fruit out of here. Then up here, we have one that never opened up again. So see how it got big, but that blossom didn't open up, so that means it did not get fertilized. I'm not sure what that problem is. I have tried adding potassium, I tried giving it nutrients. I just have a blossom problem right now, and I'm trying to figure out what is causing that, if it's kind of typical of plants or if it is something that's going on with my plants in particular. But it's multiple plants, so I don't know if it's that. But you can see there, tucked away is another Thelma Sanders that did get pollinated. So we do have at least 2, possibly 3 that have been pollinated, and other ones throughout that are forming, and hopefully they'll open up. So that is the Thelma Sanders. Our purple tomatillo that continues to produce. I have yet to see a purple one come off of it. They are all a golden yellow, but they are so good. They are a fruity flavored tomatillo, and we are very big fans of them. I did not know that I like just tomatillos by themselves. I've always had them in a salsa or something like that, but I am a big fan of the purple ones because they're so much fruitier in flavor. And I do have a video that we just put up this week of me pruning and training my tomatillos, and that is up and available for you to watch. We will go ahead and link that in the description for you guys as well. Then we have what I have deemed the tomatillo tree. This is my green tomatillo that is well over 8 feet tall, continuing to set on blossoms, continuing to grow for us, taking back over the aisle. Even though I have trellised it up, I need to come in and put some more twine on it and get it out of that aisle. I could prune that off, but at this point I'll just put some more twine, tie it up, see how tall this sucker can get. But we do have fruit on it. All throughout it are these big tomatillos. These ones, I believe this varietal was called Gigantica, and I can see why. The plant is Gigantica. The fruit it sets on is Gigantica. You'll see right here. That's just it starting. You come down here, it's like an apple. It is so incredibly big. See? And when these husks dry up, that's when they're ready. Either that or when they fall off, and then you just put them in the windowsill like you would a tomato and let it continue to grow. But these are so fun. They're so big. That is our tomatillo, our green tomatillo tree. Very tall. Let's just give you guys a size reference of this tomatillo plant. I am almost 5'9". When I put my arms up, you can see that that is still way above my arm reach even. Crazy. This is why I call it a tomatillo tree. Then we have the Black Beauty zucchini that continues to not actually set on zucchini. They get the little female blossoms and then they never open up. I truly think at this point, this is 100% where I planted it. Does not get enough sun here. And I think that's the reason why we're not getting any zucchini. So next year, do not plant zucchinis, squashes, or anything like that behind a very tall plant like the tomatillo. In my defense, I did not know that the tomatillo plant was going to get that large. Then over here, we have the Ronde Nice squash. And this one I've gotten 2 off of, but same problem. I get the females on, like so, and then the blossoms don't open. Now, I had a huge mishap this time where I did not zip tie it soon enough, and it topped off my plant. It fell over and broke the top of my plant off. Tisk tisk, that's one thing. If you are doing your squash and zucchini up a trellis or a stake or something like that, you have to make sure that you're coming out and zip tying that thing up or securing it up at least every other day, if not every day, or that will happen. Come on, little twins, open up for us and give us some more squash. If this does not produce, this will be our first 2 plants that go out of the garden. We actually are thinking about doing T-posts and a cattle panel in that area that we can grow beans up for fall harvest. So it's sad, but this was totally a learning experience of where to plant squash and zucchini so that we actually get production. Then, my friends, we have tomato row, and these tomatoes are giants, and they are doing fabulous for me, and I am so happy I was able to actually bless somebody with my first tomato haul. And I was able to give a pound of tomatoes to my mom, which made me very happy. These ones right here that you're looking at, this is the peach tomato. This one has a slight little fuzz on the skin. You don't notice it when you're eating it. It gets to where it is a yellow tomato, a slightly rosy colored top, kind of like an orange color to it, and very juicy, you guys. They are so juicy and delicious. We will definitely be growing these ones again next year. We really like this variety. It is producing like crazy for us, even up in these areas that have been under the shade cloth. We continue to have production all throughout. You can, if you look close, you can see little tomatoes all throughout it. It continues to grow. It has exceeded above and beyond what I can trellis it anymore, so it is going to be falling down at some point because it is just so tall and growing like crazy, like all my tomatoes are. Then we have our Kellogg's breakfast. This is a yellow tomato that is incredibly large. This is a very, very big tomato. If you did not see my previous videos, those little holes that are in that with like welts around it, that is what stink bugs do to tomatoes. Apparently they puncture them and then they drink the juice out of it. So that is what it is. It is still safe and fine to eat, but that's what those are. If you see it on your plants, that's the only one I've seen it on. Knock on wood. Hopefully it stays that way. So we got some really large tomatoes down there, but up above, I'm not getting a ton more on set. I don't know why, but I am continuing to hold out hope that we will get some more off of that Kellogg's breakfast tomato. And then we had the Virginia sweets, and this one we are getting a little bit more production off of than the Kellogg's breakfast. This one is a very large tomato. This is it just starting to form, but if we come on down the vine, you will see I have two extremely large ones right here. This one will get orange on the bottom and then go into yellow, and then the shoulders can sometimes still remain green on them, which you can see over here. I have one that is very close to being able to be picked. See how it's starting to get a little bit of orange on the bottom, going into a deeper yellow, into a paler yellow, and green shoulders on it. So this one is probably ready to be picked. This top is very normal for heirlooms, you guys. This is what heirloom tomatoes do. It's not a problem with your plant or a production issue. It is what heirlooms do. They get large and they start to crack at the top, and that's just very typical of heirloom varieties. And there are a few more throughout this one, so we'll see what it does, if it gives us more production or not. But that is these are for something else. That's not that. Then we have the early girl. I told you guys before, early girl is not anything special or spectacular, but it is a good tomato that gives you yield before anything else does in your garden. That's what those two were. Is an early girl, and it is a heavy producer. So this one is really good if you are impatient in the garden and you are wanting to taste tomatoes and your other ones aren't ripe. You will yield more off of this plant first initially, because it is going to set on fruit sooner and ripen sooner. That's just what it does. And like I said, nothing spectacular, but it is still a good tomato. It's just not like special flavor profiles or textures or anything like that. It is like a standard tomato, is basically what it is. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what you get in the store, is an early girl. Then we have our Prudence purple, the one with the beautiful foliage and wonderful producer. I am getting a lot off of my Prudence purple, and it is a large tomato. We continue to get clusters on it. You're gonna see here, this is caused from me watering unevenly, or it can also be caused from it getting hot. All of a sudden, it will heal itself back up. But you can see these are very big tomatoes. What they do is they turn like a very dark maroon kind of color at the bottom, fade into red, and then the shoulders usually will stay green on these ones. So if we come down here, you can see how they're turning more and more red. The shoulders are staying kind of a green color on there. That is Prudence purple. Then we have Sweet Millions cherry tomatoes. These are my snacking tomato. I have not been weighing them or keeping track of how much I'm producing out here. This is just my lovely little garden snack, and they're fun though. I really like to look at them. I like how they get this long strand and then the tomatoes go off of it. And look how pretty that is, just to see that color variegation in it. You know, you start up here with the darkest and it goes all the way to the green, tiny. You can kind of see the progression of that tomato. I just find that fun. It's the artist in me, I guess. That one is loaded all the way around it. Cherry tomatoes are fun to have in your garden. They're good, but they're also fun just so that you have snacks while you are out gardening to eat. I'm going to show you guys the inside of my tomatoes, and you can see it has well exceeded its growing space. I'm going to have to put some more twine up to hold them up, because as you can see over here, they are getting heavy and falling over, which I want them to do, but I wanted them to do it up higher so I can continue to produce off the lower section and easily harvest it, and then also walk through here. So what I'm going to do is I'll put twine around my thing and just kind of hold them up like I did on the outside, but I need to do it on the inside. But look at this insanity. It's so crazy. One thing I will note is when you're growing against trellises, because when you look at the side with them growing up a trellis, you don't typically see the tomatoes. You'll get a lot of people saying, you need to top your tomatoes if you want to get tomatoes off of it. I've gotten it a couple times. And it's just because they're growing against the trellis that you don't see it until you go in and thin out the foliage. I have plenty of tomatoes. So anyways, be prepared for people to tell you that you don't have tomatoes on your plant. You do. They just grow against the trellis because you only have 3 leads that they're growing off of instead of a big bushy plant. So you're not getting outside growth, you're getting it all against the trellis, which is nice because then it actually protects your fruit a little bit better and gives them a little bit more support. Then we have my yellow pear tomato. This is supposed to be a smaller tomato. You see this size right here? That's about what they're supposed to be. That's actually kind of big. Mine are gargantuan. I don't know what I've done. I can't give you guys tips on how I've done it because I have no idea. I am saving seeds from this one though because it is just huge. Like every single one of them on there is so incredibly large. This right here is the typical size of when they will start to turn yellow on most plants, and that's kind of what you can expect from a yellow pear tomato. This is the size that I grow. Don't know what it is. I don't know why it loves it so much, but I am happy to have them in this garden. But this is the size of my yellow pear tomatoes. They are huge. They start off small and then they just explode. This is that variety that I have just been enjoying all season long because I think they are so cute and whimsical and fairy-like, and then when they grow I'm getting gargantuan fruit off of it, so I can't complain about them, that's for sure. One thing that I love very much is artwork. I am a creative and artistic person, and getting artwork from other people makes me so happy. This is a piece that my friend Chris did, and she owns Neighbor's Barbecue here in Prosser, and it is my favorite. I love this little rock. I think it is so incredibly cute, and I just wanted to give it its little moment in the spotlight. So thank you, Chris, if you're watching this. I love my little rock. Our San Marzino sauce tomatoes are continuing to do incredibly well for us. We are going to have so much tomato sauce, and I am incredibly excited about that. I have been hoarding and saving my tomato sauce that I made last year so to get me through to this part of the season, and I am so elated to be getting more tomatoes and playing with them from my garden this year. In past years, I've had to get them from the Bud Girl garden. I'm so excited to actually have my own tomatoes to create my own tomato sauce and marinara. I am working on a caramelized marinara recipe that, let me tell you, I'm pretty proud of. And it will be going up whenever I have it perfected. Then we have our Core Debut. This is a French varietal heirloom. I love this one because it looks like pumpkins, and I am a huge fall girl and I love all things fall, and this just sparks happiness and joy in me. They produce pretty decent sized fruit. I think each and every one of them that I've actually harvested off of here has been well above 8 ounces each. So great size. Flavor is really good. It's nice and dry, which is good for a sauce. But in addition to that, there is such a robust flavor to them and sweet. So it's like this perfect balance of acid and sweetness, which is so good for sauces in my opinion. This one we will definitely grow more of next year because I'm very, very happy with this varietal. Then we have that new flower bed that I planted about 3 weeks ago now. And as you can see, it is doing incredibly well for me. I need to come out and harvest basil. My basil plants are just exploding, which is awesome because then I can make some pesto with it. I have marigolds that are growing in here. I have zinnias that are popping up. We have sunflowers that are popping up. I tried to transplant some strawberries off of my plant that were runners. You need to root them first. I didn't root them and they did not grow. But you can look here and see our summer squash is starting to set on female and male blossoms. We got one back there that looks like it's probably going to open up for me, which is exciting. So hopefully we get a male blossom to counterpart it so we can actually get some squash off of that. And then sunflowers like crazy. As you can see, they are growing great, which is good. The whole point of me planting these things in this garden, the sunflowers, the marigolds is because it is a pest deterrent. Pests hate the smell of marigolds, so I plant them next to everything. However, the reasons for the sunflowers especially is to help aerate this ground. This ground is incredibly hard. If you saw the video of me working this garden up, I will link that in the description as well for you guys. But it is incredibly hard, and those roots get really, really deep and spread wide, and the trunks get really big on sunflowers. So this will help to really break up and aerate that ground with organic matter and help it to be better for us next year. It's a small stretch, but I want to do that so that I can see the difference in how things grow in this stretch versus the new stretch that we're going to be adding next year. Then we have pumpkin plant, little tiny white ones, and then the other one will be little tiny orange pumpkins. They are flowering. However, I have not gotten female blossoms on them yet, just males, but they will come. They just got to have time to establish. And another thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be growing my fall garden in here as well. And what we'll do is called a Three Sisters method, where they grow like beans or peas or things like that up corn, but I'm going to do it with sunflowers. And then you usually plant like carrots or some kind of shade-loving ground tapping type of fruit at the base of it. So that's what we're going to do. That's for another video. However, that's kind of the whole purpose of me also planting this beyond aeration of my soil and breaking up that clay. It will give me a trellis to grow a fall garden, which will be of peas and beans and things of that nature. I just had to give them a little bit of time to establish and the heat wave to go before I can plant out that fall garden. So I wanted to close this video out a little differently than I normally do and take you guys to my absolute favorite place. I love to sit in the aisles of my garden and just exist. It makes me feel small when I'm here. It makes all the worries of the world kind of just melt away for a moment. And I feel like I'm in a totally different world. And you'll see why. I wanted to take you guys and show you guys what it feels like at the foot of my garden and just kind of the world that I have created in this space that just is almost magical to me. And I thought I would bring you guys along to enjoy that moment at the foot of the garden where I have really grown and just found my peace and quiet and purpose for existing, and I just love it here, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So until next week, you guys, just remember, those humble beginnings do grow mighty things when we tend to them. Love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you like our content. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Until then, have a blessed week. Of course, now I can't find one. Hold on. Okay. I cannot wait to eat you. We have tomatillo row. Nope. With my first tomato. Oh, you guys, I did not show you this one. Whoa. Hello, Big Bertha. That is a big one. Sorry, I digress.